Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about book tropes that I hate, so let's get into it. First up is friends with benefits. Yeah, listen. Actually, I could see this working in certain contexts, but I don't know. Maybe if the man catches feelings before the girl, because I like seeing that, because I feel like that's not what it usually is in the real world. I feel like generally, this is not always the case, but generally in heterosexual relationships, women can tend to be more emotionally invested. Again, that's general. I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone, but I like to see in books, in real life, where those roles are reversed. I like to see the man simping for the woman and like he falls first. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. So, anyway, I can tolerate it in that instance. If it's the other way around, where she falls first and she keeps asking for more, but he keeps like friend zoning her and they keep no. Like it just gets to a point. Like I don't want to read about that. Sorry. If I wanted to experience that, I would go out in the real world. Okay. Next up is not like other girls. Okay, listen. But I feel like sometimes people accuse female characters of being not like other girls, and all she's doing is explaining that she's a little bit different from her sister. Like I don't like, maybe other girls in her community, in this culture, in this book, want XYZ for their lives. She doesn't. Like, for example, I'm thinking of Althea Zoltaire from the Legends of Thesmar series. You know, women are not allowed to wield weapons in this world, and she just has a desire to, fight, like learn how to use weapons, whatever. Like she's just, I guess, different, like not like other girls in that way. Her sister is also, like most of the women in this world, she doesn't have an interest in that. Like she is in her herbal classes, like, so I will say, like, they kind of like butt heads because her sister feels like she's judging her, like, oh, you think what you're doing is so much more important. This isn't really spoilers, just like basic context for the book. But anyway, I don't know. I just think that there was some assumptions there, and whatever. It just, I'm not talking about girls like that, because I don't think that this character was obnoxious about it. Like she simply is different from the other girls in this world because she is interested in this forbidden thing. Like a lot of other girls are not interested in doing that, or they fear for their life, like justifiably so. So anyway, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the girls who are cringe. Like they don't want to have any girlfriends. They are one of the boys, it's just cringe. Next up is meta references. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what meta means, but I think I know what it means, where it's just something that is hyper realistic being mentioned in a book. So for example, when I saw smut, the word being used, I think it was in Silver Flames, I think it was in this other book I was reading. No, ma'am. Take the word smut out of the book now. But I swear, some people love it, like, and that's exactly why the authors do it, because y'all are gonna post about it and everyone thinks that it's funny or cute. I don't, especially if it's not even an urban fantasy world. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's like, this is not an urban fantasy world. Like, did Cassian use the word smut? I swear he did. If he didn't, I'm gonna feel stupid. But it's like, that's not, whatever. I don't like to see stuff like that personally. And I think that's why I got a little bit like creeped out when Dory and Ellen DeGeneres was mentioned in It Ends With Us. It's like, what? I don't know. Next up is a troubled, insecure man. Yeah, because to me, this is a red flag. Like, okay, troubled is one thing. When I say insecure, it's like he's always saying how much the female main character is too good for him, or it could even be a male main character, like male relationship. But when he's just like always talking down on himself, like, I don't deserve you. I've seen this a lot, actually. I think even Xaden is like this, and Xaden is one of my favorite book boyfriends, but it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it cute. Okay, I don't like to see it. Okay, moving on is a cinnamon roll man. Okay, just for me personally, I prefer a more dominant guy. Like, it's okay if he's soft on the inside, or he can also be soft verbally. I'm just saying I love a soft side, everything like that. I just prefer a little bit more of a dominant man. I like more banter. I like more of that energy. Like I don't know. I just it's not for me personally. Flashbacks, especially when it's really long flashbacks and it's about random side characters and it's like I know it's going to be important later, but sometimes I just want to gouge my eyes out if I'm just not in the mood for that. You know what I mean? Like you're in a reading slump. There's crazy stuff happening in the present tense and it's like I know why the author's doing it, but it doesn't make it any less insufferable. Next up is childhood friends or a first love, just because I know some people like marry their first love. Okay, I'm not saying it never happens, but I prefer a love where, in books, where they've had other experiences and it just makes them appreciate that person more. It gives them perspective, it gives them experience. Like they learn lessons from the prior relationships. Like I don't like to see them end up with the first person that they dated. But sometimes it's amazing. I've read stories like that where it's just so beautiful and it feels like, oh, these people were truly meant to be, whatever, whatever. But just generally, I don't like it. And especially when it's childhood love. Like they started dating when they were literally 12 and they're just stuck on that nostalgia. And it's like, I feel like in these books, like there's oftentimes references to like, nobody will ever understand me like this person, or like, they're so special because of the history. And it's like, hang it up flat screen. Like, if that is the reason, it's stupid. Like, it will be a lot to get to know someone again from scratch. It will be difficult and maybe not feel the same at first. But again, it's just nostalgia. It's just brainwashing. Like, I promise you, if it's that hard to where you're having to like fight to be together and you, again, like it's just hard to be together, then you're not supposed to be together, girl. Like you're hanging on by a thread. Like go find someone where, yes, you're going to have to learn everything about each other again, make memories again, but soon you will literally forget about this person. Okay, maybe not forget forever, because sometimes that person was just so integral, you know, to your story or whatever, but like you will forget a lot of things and you will lose those feelings. You know what I mean? Like if it's easier to let them go, then that's probably the move. Like that's probably the sign and the push that you need to go and find something else. And so I like books where I see that journey happening. I don't like books where I see the forcing of that first love. Next up is betrayal. Okay, I kind of hate to love this one because it will always gag me because I'm very gullible and I don't see things coming a lot of the time. So when it's like a crazy betrayal, I mean, sometimes I hate it if it's like, this is so unlike this person, whatever. Kind of reminds me of Daenerys. Well, I don't want to like spoil anything, but like she kind of betrayed, I'm not going to say it, but like it was just a really crazy shift. And I was actually watching the clips back and I didn't appreciate it at the time, but it was so wild. Like I don't think anybody saw it coming. Maybe some people did, because there were a lot of hints. Like it was like there was a lot of hints for both ways it could have gone. And I feel like although it was horrible what happened, it was foreshadowed, like probably more heavily than the other avenue. And it's always going to gag me, even if I don't support the actions of what happened, or it makes me mad because I thought this character was one way. It really gets me thinking, and that's what I love about it. It's like it really has me thinking about everything that character has ever done in the past, what their generational trauma was like, what led to this result. Because I don't like a predictable ass book, where it's like we know XYZ is going to happen, these tropes are going to happen, and nothing exciting occurs. It's like, okay, no, I would rather have a crazy betrayal as long as it makes sense. If there's no valid foreshadowing or it doesn't make sense with the character, throw it in the garbage, okay? But it does suck when, okay, I don't like a cheating betrayal. That brings me to my next one. Cheating, it's just not something that I'm ever going to forgive a character for. Like, even if the character, let's not normalize this. Let's not put this in books. I'm not here for it. If it's one of those things where they were on a break, maybe, but it still makes me sick. No. Next up is he hates everyone but her. Listen. I like a grumpy man. When I make my book tropes I love video, I will mention grumpy sunshine. But y'all will soon realize this is a sign of a toxic person, but specifically in a man. Like, this is a toxic man. This is the type of man that's going to put the woman on a pedestal. And she's perfect. She can do no wrong. She's the only person in the world that he likes. Okay, until a point. Like, he hates everyone and you think that he's going to forever idealize you? No. So, either way, even if he does forever idealize you, that's crazy to be held to that pedestal because you're never going to match up to that perfect image he put on you. So when you inevitably disappoint him, he's going to go crazy. Like, trust me, it's not cute, and it's just really gross. Like, especially when she brings her friends or her family around and then he gets like jealous of them or doesn't like them, rude to them. Like, no. And you want a man who like is liked by people, who, or a woman, whatever, anyone. You want a person who is respected and admired by people. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want someone who has no friends. Okay, it's one thing if you don't have any. I know some people are like, I'm not the problem, like, whatever. But I mean, like, someone who has like scared every friend away, someone who closes themselves off, not a good friend to other people. It just gives incel, okay? It gives incel. And I'm not here for it. So I guess I'm taking it to the extreme. If he's just a grumpy guy, but he has friends, he's just like one of those people that's like shy to open up, whatever. Okay, cute. But I said my piece. Next up is an age gap, unless one of them's immortal. So I know every single book, there's a freaking big age gap. I'm choosing to suspend my disbelief. I'm choosing to believe that in Faye years, he is mentally on the same level, even though I know it's not even possible. Like, it's just not. How is it possible? I understand in the grand scheme of their lifespan, he may think like a 20-year-old, but it just doesn't seem believable, you know, especially since they frequently reference like 100 years ago, I was doing this, or it's just like, what? Listen, I have to suspend my disbelief because otherwise I wouldn't be able to enjoy most books. But if it's an age gap where neither of them are immortal, you know what I mean? I'm not here for it. I'm not. Like, I don't believe in the power dynamic, the power imbalance. I think it's strange. If you're in an age gap relationship, good for you. I used to think maybe I could date a 40-year-old man. Literally, I was thinking that at like 21 years old. Like, be so serious. If you're in that relationship, good for you. Like, I don't know you. I don't know your partner. So I could meet y'all and be like, oh my God, what a cute relationship. But at the end of the day, I'm never gonna, I mean, sometimes I'll be like, I really like this couple, but you never know. Like, it's kind of hard to be like, I really like this couple unless you're close to them, you know? But whatever. What I'm trying to get at is like, I wouldn't know what your relationship is like unless I was behind closed doors or unless we were close, even then. You know, so like maybe your relationship is the most perfect relationship in the world. Like, more power to you. I just don't support it as a general rule of thumb. And in books where it's not one of those immortal things, I don't like to see it. And it is one of those things that could like make or break a book for me. Next up is insta love. I mean, yeah, I hate it. I hate love at first sight. It's just not realistic in real life. I don't like it in books. Like, just be serious. Like, you know, you're just physically attracted to each other. If y'all ended up falling in love, it's just a coincidence. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just say, no, I knew I loved her at the first moment. You didn't know, though. It just so happened that y'all did click, but also you could argue that you were biased because you were so physically attracted. Like, don't play with me right now. So anyway, even in books, I don't like it. Like, it's not romantic or cute to me. It doesn't feel interesting. Period. I want to see them, you know, talk for the first time and just not think anything of it. And then maybe the next time you see them, you start thinking about them a little bit more and then learning something about them. They tell a story and you're like, oh my God, they actually have a sparkle in their eye or whatever. Like, oh, he actually has a nice smile. And then it grows, and I like that slow burn in a way. Okay. Speaking of slow burn, the transitions are kind of hitting. An extremely slow burn to the ranch. To the ranch. Okay. Listen, but if the first book is enemies, second book is friends, third book is lovers, that's fine. I am fine with that, especially if there's a good plot going on. If it's solely about the romance, but that's fine. I don't want to read about y'all playing games. Nothing's happening for like the stupidest reasons. You know, they always got to come up with like something stupid to explain why they're not getting together. Why, like, it's like one of them's non-committal. There's a challenge in place. There's, I don't know, like if there's forced distance, that makes sense to me. But if it's a forced proximity and they're just always around each other, there's tons of tension. Like, listen, I love the tension, I love the angst, but don't tease me too long. Like, you're gonna blue ball me, you're gonna piss me off, don't piss me off. And the reason I'm going so hard about this is because I actually just experienced this. It took like till the last 10% of the third book for us to finally get there. And it was not even worth it. Like, if you're gonna make me wait that long, I better be reading about the craziest. Okay, but I don't even like crazy stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't want there to be like some crazy like taboo, you know, flying off the walls, like doing it in the sky. Like, I'm not trying to read about that either because that's just dumb to me. So that's why I'm trying to say, like, I'll say that I think intimacy is very special and sacred and beautiful. But I also think it's a normal thing people do. Like, at the end of the day, it is that serious between the couple, but it's not that serious to where you have to like dangle it over my head. Like, you know, do you know what I mean? It's like, grow up. Like, I'm just kidding. But you know, just enough. Like, enough of the shenanigans. Okay. And I'm talking about, again, I said if it's enemies, first book, friends, second book, like there's a reason they're not hooking up because they don't like each other. They're friends. They are not even in the same location at the same time. That's fine. I don't like when they're constantly, okay, I'm making it sound like I don't like the angst and I don't like the tension. I like that, but not when you drag it too long. Like, and my thing is, you better breadcrumb me. Like, if you're gonna make me wait forever and ever and ever, you better breadcrumb me, and it better be good. Because in this particular book, I swear to God, there was like 2 breadcrumbs per book. And it's like, I'm like losing hope here. Like, and I know it makes me sound like I'm some sort of like starved freak, but like, you know, God forbid I feel this way. But you know, so you did have me yearning. You did have me waiting for this. But again, when the chapter where it finally happens is like maybe a 5-minute scene total, and it's just nothing about it was special. Or, and I know I said I don't want anything crazy, but I want it to be special. Like, if you're gonna draw it out that long, then like let's make it something to write home about. Like, let's make it a long chapter, take our time with it. Like, but it just felt like rushed, and I was like, hello, like, you just did me like that for what like, it just makes no sense. And like in this particular book that I'm talking about, you guys, like, it was like, you know what, I can't even get into it, but it's like the breadcrumbing was not even what you think. Like, it was, like I said, it was few and far between, but it was also like, I can't. I want to speak freely, but I'm very concerned about my digital footprint. Next up is a bully enemies to lovers. I'm reading an enemies to lovers right now that I think is pretty extreme. Like, I heard that they really hate each other. It's like dead serious hate. And I'm hoping it's not bully extent because I'm not here for that. Like, okay, the name calling is one thing if it's like prejudice, like ignorant stuff, but like I don't want to see any name calling of like the B word, the C word, like specifically from a man to a woman in a heterosexual relationship. Like that just doesn't sit right with me. I guess it's a trigger, if you will, because like I don't think you can recover from that. Like if you feel comfortable calling a woman a B word or a C word, like you're disgusting. Like you're not redeemable to me. Cause like even if you hated her at the time, like you thought it was okay even in your hatred or your anger to say that. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, like that's the type of stuff I'm talking about where it feels personal, it feels targeted. It's like, or if he's like slut shaming her, or like something like that, like I really hope that's not what I'm about to read about because it's a book trope I hate. Next up is a third act breakup. I mean, yeah, it's like, especially if I like the couple. If I don't like the couple, then I might be yassing about it. But, you know, I don't like it because it just depends. It depends what the breakup's about. But if it's about cheating, like I mentioned, or whatever, I just think it sets up the second book to be fighting the whole time. And I'm not here for it. If it's one of those things where it sets up the second book to be a lot of tension and angst, and that's cool, maybe. But either way, I know it's going to be the main plot point of the second book, and it does frustrate me. And then it leaves you on that cliffhanger, which I like a cliffhanger. Like, don't get me wrong, it's exciting, interesting, whatever. I need a reason to read the second book. But if it feels like, again, I'm going to read that, and then I'm left feeling kind of somber about the relationship and not even hopeful, it's like, oh, you know? Because I'm not always willing to go through that journey with a couple, you know, especially if they piss me off real bad, which is why I mentioned the cheating thing. Next up is miscommunication. So again, if it's one of those things, oh my God, if it's one of those things where it's like, you know, they think that they caught their partner cheating, but they won't communicate with their partner and explain what they saw. So their partner's not able to explain that it isn't what it looked like and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, if it's a game of telephone and they're trusting like their friend, which you should trust your friend. It's just, excuse me, it's daunting. Is that even the right word? It's just exhausting. And I'm not here for it because it, especially when you end up using that as a main, not a plot point, but like a big subplot. Like it's this drama for like hundreds of pages. It's so lazy. It's so lazy. Like, give me something for them to actually be mad about. Like, have them actually say something and then they're mad at each other for that. But, like, you don't want to go there. You don't want to make your characters morally gray, right? You want to have it be a whole miscommunication so we can say, oh, I didn't actually say that. Oh my God, you're perfect. I'm so sorry. It's like, no, like, have them say something that they regret, but not horrible, like I said. But, you know, or like have them make a bad choice, like do a bad thing, like spice it up. Like the conflict could be about anything. It doesn't even have to be interpersonal. It could be like so many things. I don't want to read about this stupid stuff, you know? Next or the last one is a female main character who is afraid to kill. You know, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think it makes them weak. I've read about a lot of female characters like this recently, and I think it's cool. I think it's admirable. I think you should show mercy and extend grace to people who deserve it. But when it's one of those people, like this person's done you dirty so many times, your life's in danger, people you love are in danger. It's like, stop. Like, stop with the shenanigans. Like, okay, you know, because some people would not think twice, you know, to do this to you. So, okay, cool. Like, you are different. You are moral. You are great. But, like, I personally would just rather read about the trope or the archetype of the woman who is just bloodthirsty. Like that is just my preference, although she is flawed, although she has anger issues. Maybe people say, calm down, show mercy. I'm thinking about this one character, Deanna from the Book of Azrael, Throne of Broken Gods, the Gods and Monsters series by Amber V. Nicole. She is definitely bloodthirsty. So if you're looking for a morally gray female main character, she's your girl. Like I said, like she takes it too far. Like she goes all out. But I read about how many male main characters that are like that. Like, I want to read about more women like this. Sorry. Like, I don't want to read about someone who's afraid to use the knife. I mean, I would be like that, to be honest. Like, if you wrote a book about me, I would freeze. Like, that's my fear response, actually. Like, I freeze. But that's fine. That's fine. That's relatable. That's cool. Whatever. But it's actually not cool. I don't think it's cool at all. If it's a conscious choice to extend grace, fine. But if it's one of those things where like she's afraid, like it's relatable, I understand, but I don't want to read about that, girl. Like I want to see you burn the world down and fight and be brave because I could not. So I want to live vicariously through her. Okay, y'all. But she can fight in other ways. Like, okay, I'm not saying she has to be the warrior. Like, so a lot of the times these female main characters are ballsy and amazing and badass in other ways. So that's cool. That's cool. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I will catch you guys in my next one. Let me know what book tropes you hate. If you disagreed with me on anything, that's fine, but don't take it personally. Yeah, thank you. I will catch you guys in my next video. See you then. Bye.